Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
When I was a very young woman, fresh out of college myself, I walked to my college graduation and I walked into a fairly uncertain world. I really didn't know what my next step was. And unfortunately, my path crossed what seemed to me like an impossibly sophisticated and worldly older woman. And she was much more sophisticated than I realized because she was involved with narcotics. And rather than run in the other direction, I instead followed her around the globe to places like Bali and Zurich, places that seemed incredibly exotic to me, kind of like traveling to the moon. But the day came when she asked me to do something that I completely understood was explicitly illegal, and that was to carry a bag of money from Chicago to Brussels. And I was scared, but I did it. And it was a terrifying experience. And very shortly after I carried that bag of money, I ended that relationship. I came back to the United States. I sort of put my life back together. But the consequences of our actions come back to us one way or the other. And many years passed before the knock on the door came, and it was federal authorities, and they let me know I had been indicted and I needed to get ready to face the consequences of my actions. Ultimately, I was sent to federal prison for 15-month sentence. I served 13 months of that, and that prison sentence makes up the majority of the book, Orange is the New Black, which has been adapted into a Netflix original series. This book is the first thing I've ever written for publication. When I came home from prison in 2005, what I found is that almost to the very last man and woman, people wanted to know about the experience in as much detail as I would share with them. Because what happens behind the walls of prisons and jails is very intentionally hidden away from public view. I thought it was important to tell my own story because I hoped that people would come away from the book with a different idea about who is in prison, for example, women, and why are they there, what are the pathways that lead them into prison, and what really happens to them behind the walls of those prisons and jails. And we have the biggest prison population in the world, the biggest prison population in human history in this country. And that's a very recent phenomenon, and I think a big mistake. Well, what happened is that Jenji Kohan, who is the woman who created the television show Weeds, read the book when it first came out, and she got in touch with me. I was out on my book tour in Los Angeles, and she said, I really love this book and I would like this to be my next project. And so that was really exciting to me because I knew that she would do something provocative and interesting with the material. And then Netflix came into the picture after that. So I think the most important thing is that a place like Netflix is somewhere that very creative people like Jenji can realize their vision, and then audiences can decide for themselves, how they feel about it, what they want to watch, and how they want to watch it. I think that if I could go back in time and talk to my own young self in my early 20s, I would impress upon her that our actions have a lot of consequences in the world, not only for ourselves, but for other people, and that young people are much more powerful than they may realize. And also, certainly, that we have a criminal justice system which has gone very, very, very awry. It has really gone in the wrong direction, and that we need our government to make some serious changes to our criminal justice system.